Greetings, this is TK Trav, aka Travis Magus, here with LVX777. And today I'd like to remind you, or at least let you know if you haven't heard already, that you really can summon, evoke, and work with any spirit that you want. The only limitation, of course, is yourself. And two key things that we're going to talk about in this video. Number one, that being of desire. And number two, which is the biggest thing, is your capacity to receive. So, my story probably sounds a lot like yours, at least in the realm of desire. I would think sometimes, how can somebody like myself that comes from a small town that is massively, predominantly Christian, Southern Baptist Christian to be exact, how someone coming from that background can be interested and deep into such subject matter like the occult, right? I remember being, 11 years old or so, and going to Sunday school and Wednesday Bible classes and asking questions like, where are the dinosaurs in the Bible? You know, are people who haven't heard of Jesus going to hell? Like, what about people that live in tribes in Africa or Asia? Right? What happens to people who were alive before Jesus? Just different questions that aren't exactly answered by the mainstream. And I remember all the answers that I've ever gotten have never been satisfactory. And I think that really taught me that in order to get answers, I really needed to dig for myself. I really needed to research and study for myself. And it wasn't until I got much older that I realized the importance of actually reading these books. Not just listening to a video or a lecture and taking what someone else said, but doing my own study, right? That really proved to have the most benefit, I would say, in regards to answering that desire. But to get to the point, to tie that story into what we're talking about, it's desire, right? I can't exactly pinpoint where it originated from, but there's always been this desire to know, to understand. Not for any specific reason or purpose, not because I wanted to do a certain thing. I just had a desire to know and to understand. And that desire has really led me to where I am today. And I'm sure you can say the same for yourself. That it's not simply because I wanted a specific result in a specific thing, like an amount of money or a particular person to spend my time with. I've always wanted to know for the sake of knowing. And when you have that as your fuel, as your motive, it's really hard to consider something as a failure, because this isn't about winning or losing. This is about going on a day-to-day process of evolution when you really think about it. Because desire is at the core of all life, of all consciousness. If you really wanted to get into some of the works on Buddhism, ultimately it is desire that causes suffering. It's desire that causes karma. It's desire that causes existence. Because you wouldn't be here if it wasn't for the desire of your parents, or at least one of them. Our society wouldn't be here if it wasn't for someone's desire. I wouldn't be making this video if it wasn't for a certain desire. You wouldn't be watching this video if it wasn't for a certain desire. Desire is at the center of creation. And if we learn how to tap into our purest desire, the desire that you have, your specific desire, why are you doing this? Why do you seek and search? Why? If you tap into your desire, you'll find that this is your source of inexhaustible power, right? This is where you can base your confidence on. This is where you can base your trust in, because it's yours. It's inherent to you. It's a part of what you really are. And depending on where your desire is rooted is what determines what you're going to get. Of course, you add the actual action to it, but the desire is the potential. So I've been talking with a lot of you for the past few weeks online, and I'm really proud, to say the least, of those of you who really decided to step up and to test and experiment with some of these techniques and with some of these different ideas to make your own moves and come up with your own evidence and your own experience. That is amazing. That's wonderful. That's awesome. Right? A lot of you have finally dove into the book Demons of Magic by Gordon Winterfield and made your own evocations with these goetic spirits. Some of you have created your own servitors and different things like that. And I'm just happy to see a lot of people going out of their comfort zone and just trying something different and actually having results. And a lot of you, from our discussions, I've found, are having more success than even you anticipated. Now, you could attribute that to, oh, it's 2020 and things are accelerating, or, oh, maybe I had something to do with it. But ultimately what I think it is when you really have a desire to know, right? When you really have a desire to know and understand a thing, you're widening your capacity to receive. And I think that having a very wide capacity to receive inherently gets you better results. Because you think about somebody who's very skeptical. They don't have a very open capacity to receive. They're already blocked off. They're already defensive, right? And even if you present them with a type of proof or something that is logically correct, they're still going to find a way to debate or fight or contradict or refuse, right? In the Bible, it talks about how a prophet is rejected in his hometown. And a lot of that has to do with the fact that most of those people associate that person with the memories that they have of that person from the past. So it's very hard for them to receive the person that he is today. Likewise, if you rely strictly on empirical data as far as the things that you can touch and what has happened in your memory, it can cause an issue with your capacity to receive, especially when we're dealing with spiritual things. And I'm not talking about receiving something on blind faith. What I'm talking about here is being open to something new and something different, to accept and admit that you don't know everything and that you can't control everything, and that there are things, there are experiences in this world that you know nothing about. You hear a lot of times people say that a wise man can admit that he knows nothing. Well, there's a certain science to that, a certain truth to that. Because when it comes to information and data and experience, it's unlimited. And there's no possible way that you or I or anyone else that walks this planet can know everything about a thing. We all just know fragments and fractions, right? So the reality is to accept that fact and to understand that every day is an opportunity to learn something new, even about that thing that you swear that you're an expert on. I find it really difficult to call myself an expert on this field because there is still a lot of things that I have no idea about. And in my desire to learn those things, I'm constantly, subconsciously, spiritually, creating opportunities for me to learn more and more about these different things. So ultimately, it's not about what demon you choose, what spirit you choose, or what object you use to enhance your ritual. It's about, are you open enough to receive the effect, the result, from wherever it may come from? Just a little something to consider on your walk. As always, I appreciate you guys, and I thank you guys. This is TK Trav, aka Travis Magus, here with LVX777. And as always,